Welcome to the episode of the PHA Pick'em, guys. We are already on week 9, which means we have had, count them, 10, give it a 10 shows. I am dressed classy for this one because I am the hardest worker in the room coming at you. Figure, we're going to dress nice, we're going to feel nice, we're going to look good, feel good, play good, pick good. So we're going to get you with some hot picks. We're going to go for the top here. Perfect week. I'm calling it right now. Perfect week. We're 25-20 thus far through 10 weeks. We got 5 more games on the slate for you. It's a little bit of a interesting week. I tried to mix it up a bit here, try to give you guys some different teams. However, you guys know what it is. It's always going to be the 5 toughest games to pick, which means it's always going to be ranked teams. Well, I can't help that the same teams are ranked in the top 25 every week. So without further ado, let's dive into the picks. You guys know what it is. I got the handy dandy notebook. So let's go. Marquee game of the week here. We got number 6 Michigan at number 8 Michigan State. Biggest game in this rivalry in a long time. Michigan State is plus 4.5 at home. Over under is 50.5. It's an interesting number. We're going to talk more about it here. Michigan State, they have went under in 4 of their last 5 games, 3 consecutive. And the under has hit 7 of the last 10 times. So under 50.5 points, 7 of the last 10 times. A big time rivalry game. We already talked about it. It's the biggest game of the weekend. Biggest game for these two teams and where they go. Whoever wins this game controls their own destiny, not only for the Big Ten Championship, but for the college football playoff. I'm taking the under in the game, 50.5. I can't pick a winner because that'll just ruin the game for me, quite honestly. So just take the under, hope for a dirty, nasty, rainy Big Ten football. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, punt the ball, and run the ball some more, under 50.5. Next game, we'll head on down south. Down south. Ole Miss, number 10 in the country, at number 18 Auburn. Auburn is minus 3 at home. Over under is 66. Ole Miss has had a gauntlet of a schedule. LSU, Alabama, Tennessee. A gauntlet of a schedule here. On the road again at Auburn. Auburn, a quiet team, honestly. They've been just shellacking teams, not called Penn State. Corral, he's a little banged up. You guys know how I feel about Bo Nix. Bo Nix picks. He stinks. He's not going to carry the team here. I'm looking for a close game, but not a shootout at all. We're going under again, under 66. Huge for us to go 2 unders on this show, under 66. Alrighty, next game, we head out west to Houston. Number 19, SMU, the Mustangs, at Houston. Houston is actually favored at home here as a non-ranked team. They're 6-1, minus 1 here though. Over under is 62.5. Both these teams average plus 36 points a game. SMU has been averaging over 500 yards a game. That puts them number 5 in the country in total offense. Again, this one's just too close to call. I'm going over 62.5. If this game does not go over 62.5 points, these two teams have let down the entire country. You cannot have this much offense on one football field and not have a shootout of a game over 62.5. The real, what should have been marquee game until last week, number 20 Penn State at number 5 Ohio State. Yeah, let me repeat that again for you. Number 5 Ohio State. They have crept their way all the way back into the top 5 here. Ohio State at home, though, they're favored by 18.5, over under 60. You can't help but feel like Penn State, having no offense, going to 9 overtimes and still hitting the under against Illinois, affected the line here. You almost feel like, this is a rat game, like don't fall for the cheese kind of thing. Like you should clearly take Penn State because Ohio State's just been that good. But I really just don't see how, if Penn State couldn't score 20 points against a bad Illinois team, so bad in fact, the Illinois defense ranks over 100. There's like 140 teams in college football. They're like in the hundreds, like 105th or something in total defense. Yeah, they're like that far down, that bad, right? And Penn State, their offense stinks. Ohio State, they're rolling. They might go on and win the national title. Wouldn't mind it because I got a nice future on C.J. Stroud for Heisman, and he seems to be doing pretty well. So my biggest play of the week, if you followed the blog I put out earlier today, actually, I have 3 units on Ohio State here. So Ohio State minus 18.5. Huge play for me this week. Ohio State minus 18.5 again. And for our last, 5th, and final game of the week, some common teams. I keep heading out to the Mountain West. Fresno State at number 20, San Diego State. San Diego State's only favored by 1. Over-under is 44.5. We talked about the San Diego State defense last week. They're number 1 in the conference. But the Fresno offense is much, much better than Air Force. Air Force and Fresno, we called for the over last week in a game that the over-under was 40. They totaled 34 points. Air Force they didn't show up on offense. That game should have easily went over the 40 mark. So 44.5 seems low, especially for a Fresno team that can score and is very good. So we're taking the over 44.5. Count it. Yeah, count it. 4-0 coming there. 5-0 coming your way. Next, we head over to the Round Table. Knights of the Round Table Parlay. We did again for like the 5th straight week, missed by 1 leg. Ouch. 0-5, but that's all right, guys. We hit 1 or 2 of these a year, and we're made. We're made. These are such high unit calls or high odds calls. 1 or 2 hits, your units will be made for the year. Trust me. So we're not messing around this week. We went over Baylor, Texas, over 61. The under, maybe the riskiest play of the week here. We're going Miami at Pitt, under 61.5. Pittsburgh, we've talked about them before. They have a crazy good offense, throw the ball all over the field. Miami, I just don't think is good. They had a fluke of a game last week against an NC State team. 61 just seems way too high. Pitt will put their points up. Miami will not. Again, under 61.5. My favorite and my second favorite play this week, Wake Forest playing Duke. Duke got blown out last week against Virginia. Wake Forest is rolling, undefeated, 7-0. I'll take Wake and the points here, minus 16.5 for the favorite. And for my dog, this one I was a little bit shocked about. UCLA plus 6.5 at Utah. UCLA just gave Oregon everything that they could handle and probably should have won the game. I don't understand how a bad Utah team, or at least a mediocre Utah team, is getting 6.5 at home against a UCLA team that is very good. And we've talked about Chip Kelly and the visor. So a little bit of a shocker there. But again, for our over, we're going Baylor, Texas, over 61. For our under, we are going Miami, Pittsburgh, under 61.5. For our favorite, we're going Wake Forest, minus 16.5, my second favorite play of the week. And then for my dog, we're going UCLA at plus 6.5 to cover on the road against Utah. You parlay those together, you get plus 1252 odds. So you put $5 on it, a simple $5, guys or gals, you're winning like $67. You can't argue with that. So that wraps it up for us this week, guys. That is the CFB Pick'em here at PHA for week 9. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We are going undefeated this weip. We're going to improve the record. We're still doing great. We're still plus on the units. But we're going undefeated. I'm calling it now. So without further ado, guys, I am the Gambling Gambino, the King of Takes, J.O. Peace.